pick and choose what he wants to add to that team to take it to the next level. Now, the Eagles, experienced noob is our Eagles user this year. They have a right end by the name of Brandon Graham, 95 overall.
Yeah, Nick actually was the original Ravens owner beginning of last year.
Okay,
he was in
I
for
recall that
at
now.
least, I want to say at least 2-3 seasons. So he's a good user.
Okay, cool. So yeah, the NFC East. I mean, we're gonna talk about the Eagles a little bit more here in a second, but it looks like it's gonna be a really competitive division, but it's really up for grabs if anyone can take on the Cowboys.
Yeah.
So, but
I mean, I'll give you that. I still worry about that defense a little bit more than people give it credit for.
If the fact that the Redskins have an up in the air situation at wide receiver, and then the Giants have Eli Manning trying to toss that inaccurate rock around. I mean, the Cowboys might have been looking at their division like, we don't have to beat elite passing teams necessarily to make it to the playoffs. Why does that have to be one of our main spending points? I don't know. It could have been, but let's look at the Eagles. For the pros, they were focused on providing Carson Wentz weapons. They brought in Alshon Jeffrey on a 1-year deal, as well as Torrey Smith. They also added LeGarrette Blount, which is the only cog that even managed to escape Bill Belichick's hands this offseason. We're going to get to the Patriots, but, I mean, it's a big addition.
But they also lost a couple pieces, too.
Yep.
They actually, I believe it was today, they cut Ryan Matthews. So by the time we start the season, Ryan Matthews will be gone. And about a week ago, I want to say, they traded one of their wide receivers in, help me out here, Jordan Matthews.
Oh, yeah, Jordan Matthews just went to the Bills, yep.
So that's some big changes, and you're putting a lot of pressure now on Alshon Jeffrey to be a stud wide receiver again right away in a new system. And then you bring in a new running back. They basically say, all right, Carson Wentz, show everybody what Philly offense is going to be. Yeah, and it's like these guys have no time together, so it's going to take a while.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a rough start. They did add a young speed rusher in the first round as well. But on the negative side of things, to continue with what you were saying, a lack of cap space stopped the Eagles from retooling a lacking, and I mean lacking, secondary.
Yeah, I'll give you that. I mean, that is definitely going to be a weak spot for them. Personally, they're gonna feed off of Zach Ertz a lot this year.
Yeah.
That's gonna be one of their big cogs. Defensively, they're a pass rush defense. They're gonna bring a lot of weird blitzes at you, but they're gonna get beat in the secondary.
Yeah, more often than not, and you'd wonder if that's going to put Carson Wentz in these situations where he's, like you stated, he's going to have to do almost everything. Is he going to have to do just that little bit too much extra in too many games this year? I could see that being a trend as well.
Yeah.
From the NFC East, let's jump to the AFC East. This is a division where we just added a user a couple hours ago. Zach PE10. He is now the Bills user. They are, excuse me, we've already started talking about the Bills a little bit, but I'm going to give them a C grade for the offseason after some of the most recent events. And their halfback, LaShawn McCoy, number 1 player, 92 overall. Originally, I had put rebuild in Buffalo, done intelligently, left key pieces intact, especially quarterback. Well, I had to fucking take the Sharpie and go right through that. Because what do? They trade their young stud wide receiver. I know he's injury prone, but Sammy Watkins, we predicted it. He went to LA. I mean, you got to be happy. Instead of just like blowing up the entire roster, they did leave Tyrod at helm at quarterback. So at least they know they have someone. I mean, he's not gonna strike the fear into the defensive coordinator like on a Tom Brady level or anything like that. But he's more than capable of getting wins on his feet and on his arm. But the old management, before they left, they let Zach Brown leave. He hit free agency. We just talked about him going to the Redskins. And, I mean, they fumbled away backfield talent to who else but division rival New England. Mike Gillislee.
Gillislee. Yep.
Yeah. He went to the Patriots. So old management in Buffalo really set up Zach for a rough situation for his first season.
You also forgot their number one corner is now in New England too.
Oh yeah, I didn't even say that. I mean, the trend in Buffalo is being a farm team for New England, and I believe Zach will end that horrible cyclical pattern.
Oh yeah, he'll be trading. Yeah, I know for a fact when he probably didn't want the Bills, but when you looked at your options out there, you're like, all right, do I go Jets? Do I go 49ers? Do I go Bills?
It was definitely slim pickings. The carcass was almost clean.
I think he would have went with the Colts, but everybody told him you're basically going to be walking into a slaughterhouse in that division, so he decided against it, which I don't blame him. I don't know which team I would have taken, but that would have probably been... I might have considered the 49ers, but their quarterback situation is just horrible. So I guess you go with the quarterback and not the slaughterhouse. But the next team that will be taken will probably be Andrew Luck. And I say Andrew Luck, the team, not the Colts. So.
Yeah, exactly. So... Going on from the Bills, let's talk about the Dolphins. Alpha Slater, he's taken the Dolphins. They got Ndamukong Suh, still strong up the middle at 93 overall for their number one player. I gave him a B draft.
I believe that was the Dolphins user last year, right?
No, he was the Colts user for a while. Towards the back end of... Yep. Damn. Back to the Bricks is going on in Flint, so I got some crazy cars going by. But the Dolphins, I gave them a B grade. They added a litany of quality players on defense. Early round rookies on D should complement the veteran free agents that were brought in. They pretty much stole Julius Thomas in a trade with Jacksonville. His trade value was at an all-time low. They didn't really offer that much in return. They get a player with tremendous upside. You just got to wonder if Jay Cutler and his cigarette-smoking ass is able to get him the ball or not.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Jay will definitely help. I mean, that's definitely a huge building piece with those two wide receivers. Besides that, though, you don't know who's going to be the quarterback because we don't have injuries to start the year. So
that's almost like a Minnesota. It's like a Minnesota situation with a little less appeal. As far as the QBs go.
Yeah.
I mean, what were you gonna say?
No, I was just gonna say they got a couple pieces in Cameron Wake, but he's getting older. I know one of their corners was definitely one of the more developmental kind of guys. I'm trying to remember his name. Is it Webster or something? I'm drawing a blank. Not Webster. It's help me out here.
I'm about to go to the roster. I'm pulling a blank as well, so I'm just gonna go to their roster real quick and check it out. But as far as negatives for this team, they spent possibly too much money compared to the league standard in an attempt to solve problems they faced last season when trying to stop the run. Which, when you have Ndamukong Suh, shouldn't really have to be worried about stopping the run. So are you paying too much for players that aren't solving the issue, and why are you having to bring in people to do a dude's job that you're already paying? Is something that you're really going to have to think about a lot if you're Alpha Slater going into this Madden 18.
I forgot they had the gas mask guy too, Laramie Tonsil.
Okay, yep. They got Xavier Howard and Byron Maxwell at corner,
Yep,
and they got Bobby
Xavier Howard.
McCain, yep, at the nickelback.
It's not bad. They actually have, you know, some good key building blocks. I know they drafted Charles Harris for that D line, so they're definitely revamping it. So this is a team that's probably a year away, maybe two, but
Yeah,
it has the building blocks.
especially at wide receiver with that tight end acquisition. I mean, definitely some nice weapons. So let's go to Tra-Tra's team. Tra-Tra is the Patriots. I'm going to give them an A overall draft, or offseason grade. They got a 97 overall Tom Brady at quarterback. Pros, Brandon Cooks, Stephen Gilmore, Dwayne Allen, edge rusher Coney Ely. I mean, wow. I mean, what else do we have to say? They also possibly got the biggest steal in the draft in April when they selected edge rusher Derek Rivers. I mean, what's there not to like about this Patriots team?
Tom Brady's another year older. I mean, he's 40 years old. I mean, let's say it what it is. Tom Brady is one of the best quarterbacks that will go down in history, easily. It's not top one, top two, but you start to go, okay. They kept what's his name, the backup. Help me out here.
James White? Oh, you're talking about
No.
quarterback. Sorry, Garoppolo?
Yeah, Garoppolo. But I think they're gonna have to pay him, and if Brady decides, I'm gonna go a couple more years, can you really afford to keep two high-profile paying quarterbacks?
It's like Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers type situation back in the day.
Exactly. But when Brady's rated at 99, you have no choice but to keep him. So
Yeah.
that could cause problems with a loaded team, and you're gonna find out right away if the funds are actually gonna be even there. So Tra, he's a good user. He loves to pass the ball, so I know he's gonna love Brandon Cooks.
Oh, yeah.
The only difference is I know Tra likes to do a lot of jump balls, and there really isn't no jump ball guys on this team. You look at it, Brandon Cooks, Julian Edelman, Kevin Hogan, all those guys are little guys. I mean,
Yeah.
Gronk, yeah, Gronk's big, but he doesn't
There's no
jump.
Devin Funches hanging around.
Exactly. And no Kelvin Benjamins. You're not going to be throwing the ball up to, jump stars here, but Tracha's a good user. He knows how to play D very well. He's a very good passer. Not sold on his running game, but when you look at this team, it's built for Tra.
Yeah.
I
mean,
like I
they
said,
have a
it's
running back
a pass
committee,
first team.
so
Yes.
definitely one of the top 3 teams probably going in the Madden this season, just because of the elite level of Tom Brady and the amount of weapons they have on both sides of the ball. Now the Jets we don't have a user for yet. Maybe possibly the biggest train wreck in the NFL right now. Their best player is 85 overall Leonard Williams, left end. I gave him a C-. The pros, the establishment realized they couldn't compete in the NFL with such an abysmal team. They purged the team of aging veterans. At the ground floor of a rebuild, they added another franchise cornerstone on defense with their 6th pick. Negative-wise, what isn't a disaster for this team? The only highlight is their above-average defensive line. Worst team in the NFL by miles, to the point where they are halfway believed to be tanking this season, is how I feel.
Oh yeah, I'll give you that. I think defensively, they actually have on paper a very solid defensive team. But you go to the other side of the football and you go,
What side
Josh
of the football?
McCown.
It's missing.
Yeah, you're like, it's Josh McCown and Roby Anderson, Austin Safarian Jenkins. Oh, Matt Forte, who's only like 34-year-old. Yeah, exactly. But
Oh man,
Getting back
Jets.
to